Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, namaskar, sir. Welcome, sir. Shinde, sir.
नमस्कार चौबे सर। बस आपका दिया हुआ काम आदेश कर।
अरे सर नहीं सर, आप ज्वाइन किए सर 2170.
माय गॉड, टू मच।
Total number. This is too much. And let us see how many of them are joining. But 2170 total registration were there. So we have arranged for.
डोंगे सर नमस्कार.
शिंदे सर नमस्कार. कसे आहात सर?
बस आपले आशीर्वाद आहेत.
सुशील सर, आपको पता है सर का प्रिंसिपलशिप में हो गया है?
सर यहाँ मत बोलिए.
अरे उसमें क्या है?
अरे लाइव जा रहा है.
ठीक है सर.
गुड न्यूज है, बता रहा हूँ. और क्या,
शिंदे सर येणार आहेत समजलं, तर म्हटलं आपण पण जॉईन करावा. शिंदे सरांचं नेहमी छान. थँक्यू सर, थँक्यू.
नमस्कार सर. शिंदे सर नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सुना सर.
नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार. प्रकाश सर
नमस्कार. नमस्कार.
गुड इव्हनिंग.
झलक.
गुड इव्हनिंग.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Whether our live YouTube live has started along with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are on live, correct?
Yes, sir. And 90 people are watching right now.
Okay, good. 2 मिनट सर, मैं बाद में बोलता हूँ सर.
गुड इव्हनिंग मॅडम.
गुड इवनिंग. गुड इवनिंग. चाय कॉफी मैडम कुछ लेंगे?
Good evening, Moshu madam.
Good evening, sir.
Mona madam, good evening.
Good evening.
So now we can start. Yes.
Yes, we can start.
Thank you. Zalak.
Done. Good evening, everyone. I am Ms. Zalak Jogi on behalf of N.S.S Cell, University of Mumbai, N.S.S Cell B28 of Nagindas Khandwala College, along with Department of English, Nagindas Khandwala College, welcome you for today's inaugural function for the Soft Skills Development Program, scheduled from 1st February to 11th February 2022. I now request everyone to join for college anthem followed by N.S.S song.
भारत भविष्य बना सको भारत भविष्य बना सको दे मुझे स्वर भारती चलने की शक्ति दे मुझे सत्य की राह पर चलने की शक्ति दे मुझे झूठ भ्रष्टाचार से लड़ने की शक्ति दे मुझे झूठ भ्रष्टाचार से लड़ने की शक्ति दे मुझे नाम जग में बढ़ा सकूं जग में बढ़ा सकूं देवी रामा ज्ञान वह भारत भविष्य बना सकूं दे मुझे स्वर भारती दुख से वो नहीं मोड़े कभी दूसरे के दर्द दुख से वो नहीं मोड़े कभी तुझे के दुख को मिटा सकूं भावना तुझे के दुख को मिटा सकूं देवी रामा ज्ञान वह भारत भविष्य बना सकूं दे मुझे स्वर भारती विद्यालयों से प्राप्त शिक्षा महान हो क्षमाहार हो। जो भी शिक्षित हो यहाँ हर एक इंसान हो। जो भी शिक्षित हो यहाँ एक इंसान हो। सबको मैं अपना सकूं। मन में सबको मैं अपना सकूं। मैं बनूं इंसान अच्छा जग की कीर्ति कमा सकूं। मैं बनूं इंसान अच्छा जग की कीर्ति कमा सकूं। भारत भविष्य बना सकूं। भारत भविष्य बना सकूं। समाज के लिए उठे उठे, जगे स्वराष्ट्र के लिए जगे जगे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार गई, स्वयं सजीव सुंदरा सवार गई। हम उठे उठे भजन हमारे संग साथियों। हम बड़े तो सब बड़ेंगे अपने आप साथियों। सभी पे आसमान को उतार दे, सभी पे आसमान को उतार दे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। लाशियों को दूर कर खुशी को बांटते चले। गाँव और शहर की दूरियों को बांटते चले। ज्ञान को प्रचारते प्रसारते, ज्ञान को प्रचारते प्रसारते। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। बड़े बड़े बलों की शान मोड़ती रहे धरा। तरक्कियों की एक नई कतार दे, तरक्कियों की एक नई कतार दे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। जाके धर्म बोलिया बने मशहूर राहती। बढ़ाए प्रेम प्रेम की अखंडता की चाहती। सद्भावना से ये चमन निखार दे, सद्भावना से ये चमन निखार दे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। उठे समाज के लिए उठे उठे, जगे स्वराष्ट्र के लिए जगे जगे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे, सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे। सजीव सुंदरा सवार दे।
Thank you, everyone. I now request our N.S.S Program Officer and Area Coordinator, Western Suburban District, Malad, Dr. Vivek Chaube, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Zalak. Good evening to everyone. Respected Madam Director, Dr. Ansi Jose, our enthusiastic Principal, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, Registrar and Director, NSSL, University of Mumbai, Professor Sudhir Puranik Sir, Officer on Special Duty, NSSL, University of Mumbai, Professor Sushil Sinde Sir, our Vice Principals, Professor Vijay Suchak and Dr. Mona Mehta, HOD English Department, Professor Neeta Dhote Madam, convener of this soft skill development program, university level activity, Professor Nandakishore Sonar Sir, all the faculty members, all the program officers, and ever enthusiastic, our NSS volunteers and other students who have joined through YouTube link. I welcome you all for this particular university level soft skill development program, and I must compliment and congratulate to Sonar Sir and team, entire our NSS team, technical team, for making this thing to happen. And first and foremost, thanks I should give to Sushil Sir, because when I thought of having the university level program, he immediately accepted this proposal. So thank you very much, sir. Because of your encouragement and support from the university, Puranik sir support, I could have this particular event. Just I wanted to share certain facts. We were expecting that around 200 plus volunteers will join and we will have this activity on Google Meet or Zoom platform. But when we circulated the link of WhatsApp and notices were sent across, sir, there were 2170 registrations and our WhatsApp group, 5 groups already full, and people were not able to join the WhatsApp group. So I had a talk with our principal ma'am. She said, nothing to worry, we will go live. And thank you, Moshme madam, for encouraging, supporting, making all the arrangements for this particular soft skill development program. We could continue and we could arrange this. I am thankful to our Sonar sir. This is, I think, 5th year, sir. We are continuing with this soft skill development program. We started in 2017 in offline mode. For last 2 years, we are conducting in online mode. And the students across the Mumbai colleges as well as now on online platform, there are around 200 plus students, NSS volunteers who have joined from Raigad, Ratnagiri and those Mofussil colleges. So my sincere thanks to Sonar sir and our entire team. I welcome you all for this particular program and I wish all the success. Thank you very much. Yes, Zala?
Thank you, sir. I now invite our Associate Professor and Senior Most Professor from Department of English and NSS faculty, Mrs. Neeta Dhote, to share her thoughts.
Ma'am muted.
Unmute कीजिए.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Sudhir Puranik, Registrar, University of Mumbai and Director, N.S.S, University of Mumbai. Officer on Special Duty, Professor Sushil Shinde, N.S.S, University of Mumbai. Our ever-encouraging management, the Malad Kandivli Education Society. Our dynamic director, Dr. Mrs. Ansi Jose. Our enterprising in-charge principal, Professor Moshmi Datta. Vice Principals, Professor V.G. Suchak and Dr. Mona Mehta. Area Coordinator of Western Suburban District and N.S.S Program Officer of our college, Dr. Vivek Chaube. N.S.S Program Officer, Dr. Vaishali Ghodeshwar. convener of this program, and my departmental colleague, Professor Kishore Sonar, program officers and N.S.S team members of invitee colleges of several districts of Maharashtra, my colleagues from the Department of English and the N.S.S faculty, and student leaders and vast number of N.S.S volunteers assembled online from across the state. I, Mrs. Meeta Dhote, on behalf of the Department of English of Nagindas Khandwala College Autonomous, am privileged to be standing before you as a co-organizer for this ever-expanding endeavor, the annual Soft Skills Development Program. A brainchild of my colleague, Professor Kishore Sonar, what started 4 or 5 years ago as a small program organized only by the English department and our college's N.S.S unit, with support from our college colleagues, has today spread its wings to become a university-level activity, encompassing several districts of Maharashtra. This milestone is only because of the hand-holding done by the N.S.S cell of the University of Mumbai. We are extremely grateful to you, Professor Puranik, for this gesture. As a team, we are happy to reach out to the vast student community. In their pursuit of a bachelor's degree, students hope to get a good education, progress, develop a well-rounded personality, learn crucial linguistic, emotional, and social skills, and thereby acquire the confidence to face the corporate world in the future. In the pandemic, much of this has taken a beating. The world has turned topsy-turvy. Hence, our attempt in this 10-day soft skills development program, which will take place from the 1st to the 11th of February, is to restore that confidence and equip the students in every way possible to regain a shadow of normalcy. I hope you will benefit immensely from this. Wishing you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Assistant Professor Kishore Sonar of Department of English and N.S.S faculty to introduce the theme of Soft Skills program.
Sir, तुम्ही mute वर आहात.
Sorry. Thank you, Jalak and Nita Madam. Chobe sir. Good evening to all. Good evening to N.S.S Director and Registrar of prestigious University of Mumbai, Professor Sudhir Puranik sir. Officer on special duty of N.S.S cell University of Mumbai, Professor Sushil Shinde. Director or Dynamic and Resourceful Director of MK Society, Dr. Mrs. Nancy Rose. Vice Principals, Principal or Efficient Principal, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta ma'am. Vice Principal, Professor Vijay Suchak sir and Dr. Mona Mehta. Area Coordinator and N.S.S Program Officer, Dr. Vivek Chobe. Senior most faculty of the Department of English, Professor Meeta Dhote, Professor Edwin. HOD of Geography Department, Professor Shwet Setkar, Dr. Vaishali, Professor Godia sir, N.S.S faculty. All faculties and N.S.S program officers of different colleges and volunteers. All our faculty members of the aided section as well as self-finance section. Thanks to all. It is not an individual, it is a teamwork. It is leadership qualities and coordinating capacity of Dr. Vivek Chobe sir. And thanks to the Professor Sushil Shinde sir. This number shows that how efficiently you are working. In the day before yesterday or 3 days back, just we had a communication. And after that, it spread long, and all the students, all the volunteers of the N.S.S cell, they joined this. Thanks to you. Thanks to Puranik sir also. Our director, madam, actually when I talked with the ma'am, NC ma'am, that ma'am, I had this proposal. Madam said, you just go ahead and motivated me. I defined my NC ma'am by three C's. One is the credibility, competence and caring as well. The same legacy is carried forward by our Principal Ma'am, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta. I define Moshmi Ma'am by 3 A's. That is academic soundness, academically sound, administratively efficient, and adroit in research. Whatever qualities are required for the higher education, UGC, these 3 qualities our Moshmi Madam has. Thank you Madam and NC Madam for your support and motivation. You are the great pillars of not only the institution but the society. You are great influencer as well. Thanks to our Puranik sir, Shinde sir, Shetkar sir, Nita madam, you have supported me with the heart. And thanks to our program officer, I define Chobe sir with 3 Ds: determination, dedication, and devotion. The way he is managing all the N.S.S. activities, salute to you, sir. Thanks to you. Now my duty is to spell out what is being carried away in this 10 days soft skill development program. Number 1 lecture, that is of emotional stability by Amruta ma'am. Listening skills by Professor Edwin. You know, listening is from the heart, whether you are listening or hearing. And listening is a voluntary act. And hearing is from the head. So there should be, when there is a conflict between head and heart, please always listen to your heart. So listening skill will be taken by none other than our asset of English department, Professor Edwin. English grammar, you know, I am from vernacular medium. I face so many problems, but I overcome that problems because of my gurus, right? And English grammar is the foundation of the building. If the grammar is not solid, concrete, there is no use of the building. It will crumble down. So that grammar lecture will be taken by our very efficient HOD, Professor Nita Dhote. Then, you know, sometimes what happens, we study a lot. And as soon as we enter in the exam hall, we forget everything. So that technique, those techniques are very, very important. And those techniques will be taught to you by none other than our controller of exam, Professor Thompson Thomas. The topic is how to prepare for the examination. Then the next topic will be taken by, GPS, how to use Google Maps. This is very extremely important for us, because this is extremely important for the security point of view of the girls, right? So that lecture will be taken by Professor Suresh Shetkar sir. Then competitive exam, Professor Bhushan Deshmukh sir. Conversational skill that I will be taking. We require 3 skills, you know, I always tell you in the class also. One is your expression, power of expression, expressive power. We are born to express, we are not born to impress. Remember, so expression is important, leadership quality is important, coordination capacity is important, and knowledge of the subject, an idea of the knowledge of the subject, that is very important. An idea can change your life. Then 7 C's of communication, you know, courtesy, conciseness. Then all these 7 C's will be taken by our efficient and very socially sensitive person, Professor Nelson Daniel sir. Then after that, the very important, the N.S.S. logo is what? Not me, but you. माझ्यासाठी नाही पण तुझ्यासाठी. Isn't it? When our Swami Vivekananda say, we want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. This is very, very important for all of you. I request all the students to attend all the sessions. They will be extremely motivating, inspiring for you, because 90% of the learning is done by observation. So you observe this. I always remember this quotation of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, people's president. What say? When there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. And when there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. And when there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. If there is an order in the nation, there is peace in the world. What a beautiful quotation. You follow all these things, you learn all these soft skills. So thank you very much, our director ma'am, our principal ma'am, Professor Suchak sir, Mona ma'am, Sushil Sindhe sir, Chaube sir, Nita madam, and all extremely important, all my N.S.S volunteers. I know how much pain you have been taking from the last 6 days. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Jana. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our Vice Principal, Professor Vijay Suchak, to address us.
Good evening, one and all. Thank you, Zalak. Respected Director, Dr. Mrs. N.C. Jose, Principal, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, Shri Sudhir Puranik ji, respected Registrar, University of Mumbai, Sushil Sindhe ji, N.S.S. in charge, University of Mumbai, my Vice Principal colleague, Dr. Mona Mehta, N.S.S. in charge, Dr. Vivek Chaube, all the members of N.S.S. team who are responsible in shaping this about 2 weeks program in its 5th year soft skill development program. Professor Sonar, Professor Mrs. Dote, Professor Edwin, all senior members of N.S.S, dear colleagues and students participating from the college, from Mumbai and from Maharashtra. It is really a joy, a pleasure to be associated with a college which is taking initiative always, having this kind of colleagues who would not remain left behind, and untiringly they are working and making this soft skill development program happening. They are able to attract the students not only from Mumbai colleges but even from beyond Mumbai, other parts of Maharashtra. My compliments to Professor Sona, Professor Chaube and all the members. I'm sure these approximately 10 days or 11 days programs will definitely go a long way in making you a better speaker. And as he has rightly said, to be able to become a better speaker, you need to be a better listener. So I'm sure you will be able to do both, and you will definitely see an improvement in your personality. Once again, I compliment everyone for allowing Nagindas Khandwala College in hosting this soft skill development program for the entire university. My good luck and good wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request our principal, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, to address us.
I think there is some network issue. Madam, are you there?
Yeah. There's a network issue in the college. Yeah.
Okay, madam.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Madam Director, Dr. Mrs. N.C. Jose, the Professor Sudhir Puranik sir, Professor Sushil Sindhe sir, my vice principals, Professor Vijay Suchak and Dr. Mona Mehta, coordinator of N.S.S, Dr. Vivek Chaube, and the convener of the program, which is going on, Mr. Nankishore Sonar, as well as other members of N.S.S unit, the faculty members present in the platform, and my dear students. It is indeed a very, very pleasant moment when you have such a nice program being arranged by the N.S.S team, and I congratulate the N.S.S team for that. Soft skill development programs have become the need of the day because it improves your performance, it improves your productivity. So, and the N.S.S team of our college definitely is working tirelessly, as Suchak sir said, and has been working for improvement, a holistic development of the students. So I congratulate the N.S.S unit for that, and I wish all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite our director, Professor Mrs. Nancy Josh, to share her valuable thoughts.
Ma'am, you need to unmute.
All right. Good evening, everyone. At the outset, let me extend my New Year wishes to each and every one of you who are present here. Secondly, let me take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Puranik for becoming registrar. Though it is an old story, but I think he is attending the program for the first time in our college. So my compliments to you, sir, and our congratulations from the entire group to you for becoming the registrar. And we are so happy that one of our faculty from amongst us, somebody is becoming a registrar. We are so proud of you, and we are so happy about that. And I'm very thankful to you for spending the time for sparing your time to attend this program. And we have, as usual, our Sushil Shinde, who is always guiding us and helping us to grow more. So Shinde sir is also there, and Vivek Chaube, what to say, whatever is, just tell him that Vivek is to be done, and it is done, and it is happening. And all my principal colleague, Maushami, vice principal colleagues, and all my faculty colleagues and students. This was very, this was a project which I used to love a lot. We used to do it in the college, right in the beginning, from beginning. When I discussed this with our English department, they immediately took over that, and then I think Nandakishore took the initiative, and we have been doing this for our college students for so many years. And I think we have done for with some association with some other organization also, we have done this program for other students, benefit of the students. One good thing about my college I can say is such a cooperative faculty and such an enthusiastic faculty who is ready to put in their maximum effort for making the college institution a better place. Maybe that's the reason why after retirement also I'm here as a director, possibly. Otherwise I would not have been there. Because when some pathway is shown and they followed it and they implemented it and it became very well, so naturally the college is benefited out of it. So, I'm so happy that I was traveling. I just left from college and just entered the home and you announced my name. So I'm so happy that this type of programs are happening. Our way forward is, our thought process is always surrounding around the student. We are missing the student energy level in the college because of this online things. But now online का benefit भी है, disadvantage भी है. But benefit अभी ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Otherwise ये program होने के लिए बहुत ही तैयारियां होने पड़ती थी. अभी तो एक YouTube हो गया, एक लिंक हो गया, तो अपना program शुरू हो गया, program हो गया. And students are also learning the new techniques, and we are also learning it. So my congratulations to all of you, to Chaube and the entire team of N.S.S and English department for wonderfully arranging this. And I am sure that this 10 days program will definitely be a success. And I wish you all the best. May God bless you all. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite our Vice Principal, Dr. Mona Mehta, to share her thoughts.
Good evening. Puranik sir, Shinde sir, Director Dr. Mrs. Nancy Jose, Principal Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, Vice Principal Suchik sir, N.S.S Coordinator Vivek Chaube sir, and the Program Coordinator Sonar sir, and dear students. Soft skills is always a very interesting program to go through. Why is it interesting? Because you can always enhance your soft skills. You can always become better. You can never say I'm perfect in soft skills. And they've taken such interesting topics. Whenever in life, when you're working or running your business, it's very important to make right decisions. And I think to make right decisions, you need to communicate well. And to communicate well, you need the right soft skills. So I congratulate the N.S.S department for taking such a relevant topic, and I wish all the participants all the very best. Make the most of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We will now have Mr. Sushil Shinde, Officer on Special Duty of N.S.S, Mumbai University, to speak a few words of encouragement.
Yes, Jai Hind all of you. On the first hand, I would like to congratulate all the members of Nagindas Khandwala College and the entire team of N.S.S and the English department for carrying out such a beautiful program of soft skill development. First of all, I should thank Director Principal Nancy Jose Madam, who, I'm a person from botany, so I will take her name through a botanical example, because she has planted a seed in her garden, and that garden seed which was been planted has become a very huge tree, and it is spreading its branches to such an extent that under that branches there are lot of people who are taking benefits of it. The fruits and other things are enjoyed not only by Nagindas Khandwala College, but also the colleges of all the districts, right from Mumbai to Sindhudurg till Goa border. So this is only happening because of a very clear vision of a person, and we respect Dr. N.C. Jose for that. In entire university also, ma'am has been always referred as a person of with respect, and I would like to congratulate on behalf of University of Mumbai that this kind of skill development, which is a need of ours, has been taken by English department, convener Sonar sir and Neeta Dote madam and other faculty members who are part of it. Such beautiful subject what are been taken, which are really required to make student aware about certain skills, and that you have taken for it. And for this, the initiative taken by the principal of the college, Moshmi madam, Mona Mehta madam, or Vice Principal Vijay Suchak sir, all my members whom I know personally, it may be Dongre sir or Shetkar sir or any other, they have taken a lot of efforts to do this activity to such an extent that people are going to benefit. So I would like to congratulate, because 2 days Vivek Chaube sir was just discussing, sir number बढ़ गया, sir number बढ़ गया, एक फूल हो गया, दूसरा फूल हो गया, तीसरा फूल हो गया, what is this? बोला क्या चल रहा है क्या? So this was a houseful program which was been organized. मुझे लगता है 5 WhatsApp ग्रुप बन गए हैं, और मुझे लगता है एक WhatsApp ग्रुप में 250 बच्चे अकोमोडेट होते हैं, एंड कुछ देर तक बंद करना पड़ा. अगेन देयर स्टार्टेड क्वेरी फ्रॉम ऑल द एरिया कोऑर्डिनेटर्स, प्रोग्राम ऑफिसर, सर लिंक बंद हो गया, वी वांट टू एनरोल. सबको बोला गया था कि 2 बच्चे भेजना है, बट सीइंग एट द सब्जेक्ट, the kind of subject which have been selected, they are so nice, and they appealed the student that I should attend this program foremost, and that's why the number of went on increasing till yesterday. Sir told me that 1400 बच्चे हो गए. सर क्या करें? बोला सर देखो अगर 1000 का अगर जूम प्लेटफॉर्म मिलते हैं और सिलेक्टेड 4 बच्चों को देते हैं. Then after in evening time, Chaube sir informed me that principal madam has given the permission to go and put a YouTube link. We will go live and we will make it benefit to all. So whosoever will be joining, he will be listening to all the lectures which are going to be there for this 10 days. It is just like a mini orientation or refresher course you are organizing for students. Sir, hats off to you for taking this challenging task. I got to know that there are around 2170 registrations which you have informed me. It's a very big number. The students are going to benefit with this. So I congratulate one and all for this kind of mega, massive, whatever adjectives English department would like to use for this, would use for this kind of program. It has gone to, अगर एक साथ इतने बच्चे आते, टेक्नोलॉजी का धन्यवाद देना चाहिए कि हम लोग ये ऐसे कर सकते हैं. नहीं तो मुझे लगता है कि एक बड़ा ग्राउंड लेना पड़ता है ये स्कूल अगर ये ऑफलाइन होता. सो इट इज बेटर कि हम लोग ऑनलाइन ही हैं. तो आई कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट एंड आई विश ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर यू on behalf of NSSL University of Mumbai, from Puranik sir, from everybody. I would like to thank the organizing college for taking this task, a massive task for taking the soft skill program. I thank principal ma'am, vice principal sirs, all department colleagues, English department, Nancy Jose madam, everyone for taking this task for University of Mumbai. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Chaube sir. First of all, I should not forget you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and Jai Hind all of you.
Thank you, sir. We are almost at the end of our inauguration function. Hence, I call upon Ms. Pooja Shah to propose the vote of thanks.
I, Pooja Shah, on behalf of the N.S.S. Cell, University of Mumbai and N.S.S. Unit B28 of Nagindas Khandwala College, in collaboration with the Department of English of Nagindas Khandwala College Autonomous, consider it my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this inaugural ceremony of the 10-day Soft Skills Development Program. We are extremely grateful to Professor Sudhir Puranik, Registrar and Director of N.S.S. University of Mumbai, for consenting to be as chief guest. I would like to thank Professor Sushil Shinde, Officer on Special Duty, N.S.S. University of Mumbai, for taking time from his busy schedule to motivate and encourage us. I am thankful to the Department of English for lending us support in this endeavor. I am also grateful to our Director Dr. Mrs. Nancy Jose, our Principal Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, our Vice Principals Professor Vijay Suchak and Dr. Mona Mehta. A special acknowledgement to our N.S.S. Program Officer and Area Coordinator of Western Suburban District, Dr. Vivek Chaube, for organizing this soft skill development program for us, which has also become an annual feature and an integral part of everyone's life. I also thank our management, the MKES, for giving us the opportunity to organize this event. I extend a big thanks to all the program officers and NSS volunteers of the invitee colleges, our college NSS faculty, as well as our student leaders for their cooperation. As no program can be a success with the efforts of only a single person, I would like to thank all our student participants from across Maharashtra for being here today. We look forward to hosting you in the subsequent sessions of this soft skill development program too. Please stay on the first session of the program, which is to be followed now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonar sir.
Thank you.
With your permission, I would like to leave.
Yeah. Jala, please announce about the next session. Huh?
I request everyone to stay in the meeting as we will be starting our first session for soft skill now in some time.
Jagat, we have to stay in the same link, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sir, can we start with our first session?
Yes, start.
पूजा unmute है, unmute कर.
I, Pooja Shah, on behalf of N.S.S. Unit B28 of Nagindas Khandwala College and N.S.S. Unit of BSGD Junior College in collaboration with the Department of English, N.S.S. Cell, University of Mumbai, welcome you all for today's first session of Soft Skill Development Program on Emotional Stability. I would like everyone to keep their videos off, audio on mute. I would like to welcome our speaker for today, Mrs. Amruta Sahasrabuddhe. I now request our N.S.S. volunteer, Neha Parekh, to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Pooja. Good evening, everyone. I, Ms. Neha Parekh, would be introducing our speaker for today, Professor Amruta Sahasrabuddhe Joshi. She is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology of our college since the last 8 years. She has completed her master's in industrial psychology and PG diploma in counseling. A woman of multiple interests, she has been a national level rifle shooter, winning medals at both state and national level. A drama and literature enthusiast, she was a member of the winning team in Youth Festival during her college days. Amruta ma'am is fond of literature, history, sports, and maintains an active interest in contemporary events. Rightly, therefore, she is a sports counselor and has conducted individual and team sessions for performance improvement with different athletes. Today, ma'am will address us on the topic emotional stability or intelligence. We are delighted to have her share her expertise on this subject. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Vivek Chaube, the program officer of our N.S.S. cell, Professor Nandkishore Sonar, all other members of N.S.S. And Department of English for giving me this opportunity for the second year in a row. Now, my topic is on emotional regulation or emotional stability, as you may call it. So, when I was having a chat with Dr. Chaube today in the staff room, and he told me the number of students attending the session, I had to regulate my emotions to a very great extent. I'm still doing that. So, I hope I'll be able to manage with that till the session ends. I think I'll start presenting my PPT. Just let me know if it's visible to everybody. I hope the PPT is visible to everyone and I'm audible as well.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Chaube sir, with your permission, can we begin?
Yes, madam, you can start.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, as we have been talking about the soft skills development, I am very glad to talk about this topic, which is emotional stability. As we go ahead, as it was discussed during the inaugural session as well, more than any time before, these days the skill of emotional stability, there is a really dire need to instill this skill in all of us, because the situations and the surroundings are changing so fast, and literally in the past 2 years we have seen that the world has turned upside down. So more than any time before, or maybe any time later, I think this is the right time to harness this skill among all of us. So let us see if we all are able to do that. So before I introduce the concept of emotional stability, of course, we need to look at the concept of emotions in the first place. It's something that we all take for granted. It's something that we all are born with. So I would just like to pose certain questions in front of you, and I'm sure we all will be able to find answers to these questions while we are going ahead with the session. So before I put these questions, why I'm thinking on these lines when I talk about emotions, why I'm equating them, or is it right to equate emotions with human beings? So, in psychology, there have been lots of schools of thought which try to explain what determines human behavior. So, there were lots of schools of thoughts which earlier thought that human beings are very evil. Then there was a school of thought which decided that human being का जो behavior है वो पूरी तरह से environment पे dependent करता है. So, there were lots of different theories which try to explain that. I am not getting into details of it, but one thing that stands out among all of them is one theory which stated that when you're looking at human beings, you should look at them as human beings and not anything else, not as animals, not as machines. So apart from in many other things which separate human beings from other species and other kinds of things, emotions are one of them. So I would like to pose certain questions in front of you, when we are talking about emotions. So as I said, as we go ahead with this session, we will try to find out if we are able to find answers to these. My first question is, can we separate ourselves from our emotions? Now, why I'm posing this question is, there are lots of instances in our life where we have to actually hide our actual emotions and show something else. So, is it always necessary, or is it will it be better if we are able to constantly switch on and switch off from how we are feeling and how we are behaving? Is it possible for us to separate our true selves from, or to separate how we are behaving from the way we are feeling? Another question which I would like all of you to reflect on, will the world be a better place in the absence of emotions? What I mean by this is, let us say, for example, as we go ahead, we will talk about different emotions. Now, all the emotions that we experience are definitely not positive. There are lots of negative emotions also which we experience. There is sadness, there is grief, there is anger, there is hostility, there is guilt, and many others. So, what if, will it be better? Let's say, for example, suppose, I had an argument with somebody today. Normally, I'm likely to feel angry in the presence of emotions. But would it be better, if I feel like, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just indifferent. Will my life be better if I become indifferent, or is it otherwise? So, let's give it a thought on that as well. Let's just reflect on that thought as well. Now, when we are talking about human beings, is cognitive ability everything? Now, when we are talking about cognitive abilities, we are talking about these higher order skills which we require. For example, intelligence, decision making, problem solving, and other things which make us intelligent. So to say, so are they enough and are they sufficient for human survival, or do we require emotions as well? Now, in the previous year, when I was discussing about a similar topic, we had discussed this, that many people would like to equate emotions with heart. तो many Bollywood movies and stuff like that, तो काफी गानों में भी हमारे ऐसे words होते हैं that feelings are related to heart. But I remember we discussed about that whether it's feelings or emotions, whether it's feelings or thoughts or anything, everything is situated in the brain. So why do we need emotions in the first place? Will we be more happier if we are only having these many abilities? Will it be sufficient for human survival? And lastly, if we choose not to express our emotions, or in other words, if we choose to suppress our emotions every time, will they automatically go away? Or what will happen to them? So as we go along with the session, we will try to find out answers for all of these questions. I'm sure many of you must have started reflecting already. So in the later part, when we talk about question and answers, I would like to hear some of the answers from some of you. Now, when we are talking about emotions, usually we use these things as synonyms. For example, it's emotions, it's moods, feelings, and please read this word as affect and not affect. So affect is also a feeling that we are talking about. So usually we use them interchangeably, कि जैसे कि synonyms है, हम लोग एक शब्द की जगह दूसरा भी use कर सकते हैं. But if you see technically there is a difference in them, and we would just like to as we are going ahead. So what is the difference between emotions, between moods and affect? So if we talk about affect, so affect we can think of as an umbrella term which comprises of both emotions as well as moods. So it's a broad range of feelings which people experience, and so affect can be either emotions or moods. Now there are, even though we like I said that we treat emotions and moods as synonyms, there are very interesting differences between emotions and moods. Let's say, for example, the first difference, emotions are usually caused by a specific event, or they are directed towards a specific person. For example, when you are going somewhere and suppose आपको कहीं चलते चलते किसी का धक्का लग गया, so it's immediately you get angry. So that's a specific event, some person who has dashed on you, that has caused you angry. So that is your emotion. But if you're talking about moods, they are more general, and the cause behind your mood may be unclear. Let's say, for example, when you get up in the morning, you are feeling like in a very low mood. You're not feeling like getting up and going to work or going to college. You don't know the exact reason behind that. So the reason behind your mood is much more unclear compared to emotions. Normally emotions last only for brief duration, let's say seconds or minutes. For example, if you have an argument with your friend, so usually after that argument is over, it will stay with you for some time, but then that anger, the thoughts might remain, but the anger which was there, the amount of hostility that you might be feeling, that will diminish after a certain point. But in case of moods, if you see, they can last even for days together. For example, many times लोगों के moods weather के ऊपर depend करते हैं. So let's say in rainy days, many people don't feel like going out of their houses for days together. So that is mood. Emotions are more specific and more numerous in nature. Let's say, for example, there are 5 basic emotions that we will talk about in this particular session. So there are, and usme bhi 5 emotions, maybe there can be lots and lots of subcategories as well. But if you're talking about moods, we can have a very simple categorization like positive or negative. So it's pretty simple. One interesting feature about emotions is that, which I would like to see if we all are able to identify them. If you see certain facial expressions, you are able to identify what emotion the person is expressing. So they are usually accompanied by distinct facial expressions. But mood ka kya hai ki, let's say, for example, if the person is in bad mood, if the person is sitting like this, okay, now you don't know if the person is sad, he is bored, he is angry, he is guilty, he is feeling guilty, he is feeling bad, what is it? So it's only positive or negative. And last difference is that emotions are usually action oriented in nature. So in the sense that when you feel an emotion, you are likely to do something about it. So let's say, for example, when you are about to enter college and you see your friend after many days, you're feeling happy. So you are likely to go to that friend of yours and greet him and talk to him. So emotion will be more action oriented, but moods are more cognitive in nature. So when you are in a certain mood, you more indulge into thinking rather than behaving or taking any action. So This is the basic difference. So let's talk about emotions in detail, since our topic is about emotional stability. So what are emotions basically? So these are intense feelings which are directed at something or someone. So please remember this thing. Every word in the definition is very important. That is why I have highlighted it twice. They are very intense, like I said. More often than not, the intensity that with which you feel an emotion is very high, and it is directed towards a specific target. Now that target can either be a person or a situation. Let's say, for example, emotions are reactions to a person. So like I said, when you are going to college or when you are going to your workplace and you see your friend after a very long time, you feel glad, so you're happy. So it's directed at that person. Or it can be an event as well. So let's say, for example, a customer care executive, so when he is talking to a customer over phone and a customer gives a rude remark, so that's a situation that he's feeling frustrated about, that he's feeling angry about. So it is specifically directed at something or someone. When you show your emotions, to be more precise, if we have to frame it in a sentence, so you are happy about something, you are angry at someone, you are afraid of something. It's not general in nature. Like I said, it's very, very specific. But moods, in contrast, are usually not directed at any person or at any event. So it might be, it's usually more general in nature and not very specific. Now, having talked about emotions, let us talk about the three components of it. So which all three components of emotions we can think of? Now, usually emotions will have three components. Now, like I told you in the beginning, emotions, like every other, all other our thoughts and all other capacities, they are situated in our brain. To be specific, there is an area in the brain called as limbic system. So which controls, controls our, basically regulates our emotions. So when we are talking about emotions, there are three components or three, we can say three parts which basically follow when you are having an emotional experience. The first important thing is physiological arousal. That is why I am highlighting this part, that they are situated in the brain. So whatever kind of, we already said that emotions are, they are, I'm sorry, they are triggered by a situation, or they are triggered by an event or a person. So when you are in front of that person or when you are in that situation, there is a physiological arousal. So let us say, for example, let's take this situation and let's try to decompose, हर एक जो मैं अभी instance बताने वाली हूँ. So it's related to which part? So let's say, for example, an employee at a corporate office is insulted by his boss. Now, the emotional experience that he is having, so we can actually decode that into three different components. He will be, now increased heart rate is one of the many physical symptoms that he must be experiencing. Okay, so uska palpitation बढ़ जाएगा, he might start sweating because of fear, or even it might be because of anger as well. There will be other physiological reactions, and these are not under his control, so they are happening automatically. His nervous system, his brain is basically trying to sync with what is happening with him. So whatever that stressor is, the body is trying to cope up with that. So there will be increased heart rate, dilation of pupils, more increased amount of respiration, perspiration, sweaty palms, etc., etc. So that is a physiological arousal. The second thing, which is very, very subjective in nature, is conscious experience. So what that person is going through right now, let's say, for example, within himself, that employee must be feeling very angry, he must be feeling very disappointed, he might be feeling let down and whatnot. So all sorts of negative emotions might be might be very much within what he's experiencing right now. They might be very much within him. However, having talked about conscious experience, this is what I was talking about, that what I feel right now, it's not always appropriate to express it in the same manner and in the same intensity. For example, this employee is feeling extremely angry and disappointed and annoyed and hostile towards his boss. But can he express that? Can he say, just you and your office can go to hell, I don't care? Can he say that? So obviously he cannot say that. So on his face, on surface, he has to, give some different expression. He has to hide his real feeling, he has to hide his real experience and have a different face. So normally in such instances, he might have to show, or his face might become quite, he might be very embarrassed and guilty expressions that, his face might be having. So I hope the three components of emotions are clear. Physiological arousal, which is not under that person's control. And remember one thing, when we are talking about physiological arousal, it happens with happy emotions as well. So these three components are a part of any emotional experience, whether it is positive or negative. So let's say, for example, a very happy event like getting married. So, one day before that, even if that bride and groom, when they're thinking about getting married, so here also, even if it's a happy emotion, it can be accompanied by the physiological arousal as well. Then there will be conscious experience and expressive behaviors which will follow. So whether it's a happy or a negative, a positive or a negative emotion, components of the emotion will remain same. That they will be having these three components. Now, like I said, that there are 5 basic kinds of emotions that all of us experience, and then there can be subcategories, but we can have some general labels on these 5 emotions. So let's just see. I'll just give you situations and let's see what kind of emotion most people are likely to experience in such situations. So you all can just tell me one by one. So when you're driving the car, a pedestrian walks carelessly and almost comes in front of your car. How are you likely to feel? People can unmute themselves and answer.
Irritated.
Irritated, okay.
Angry.
Yes, angry. So, and why I'm pairing these emojis with the statements is that if you remember, we made the point that emotions can be very clearly distinguished depending on the facial expressions. So here you can say the person is angry. Now, since the restaurants and eating joints have opened up, suppose you go and sit in a restaurant. You're about to sit, but you notice a dirty table. How are you likely to? What are you likely to?
Disgusted.
Yes, absolutely. You're disgusted. Unfortunately, suppose you fail in an exam.
We feel sad.
Yes, you feel sad.
Or maybe disappointed as well.
Yes, sad and disappointed. Very true. Suppose you have completed your graduation, you will get a very lucrative, a very attractive job offer. How are you likely to feel?
We'll be happy or we'll even dance and joy.
Yes, you'll be happy, you'll be elated. And if you notice, assuming that you're scared of dogs, but I assume everybody will be scared of a barking dog at least. So a barking dog is approaching towards you and you notice that. How are you likely to feel?
Scared.
You're likely to feel very, very scared. And so these are the 5 basic emotions that I wanted to talk about. So we'll just go through 5 basic emotions and the purpose also, very quickly, the purpose that every emotion serves. The first is feeling of joy or happiness. So basically it's feeling of happiness. Now, why do we need to feel happy? Of course, it's it's something that naturally comes to all of us, but what is the need for that? So happiness, this emotion ensures that there is hope and optimism in life, which is very, very important. So everyone's life is full of ups and downs. So whenever there are moments of appreciation, people do feel happy and they should happy about it. They should feel happy about it. So that serves a purpose. It maintains our hope and optimism. The second emotion is the emotion of fear. Now, if you recollect, I asked you this question in the very beginning, that why do all the 4 questions that we went through, will the world be a better place if there are no emotions? So imagine if the feeling of anxiety and fear goes away from your life, how happy you will be. You will not be anxious of your parents, you will not be anxious of exams, you will not be anxious of job interviews, you will not be scared of anything in your life. But somewhere, what you're keeping at stake is your survival, because fear is one emotion which is basically instilled in all of us, in all the living species. Fear is a very important emotion for survival. So it ensures safety through avoiding danger and risk. So let's say, for example, when I gave you this example that you notice a barking dog which is coming towards you. So because you're scared, you're likely to do something. If you're not scared, you will just stand there, let the dog come and bite you and go away. So that's not how it works. So if you're scared, then only you are likely to do something. There are normally we call it fight or flight. So you will either try to fight out the scary object, or you will try to fly away or run away from there. So you will try to do something to protect yourself. So in the absence of fear, it will be very, very difficult for people to survive. So fear is another important emotion. Then there is anger. So it's basically feeling of frustration, annoyance, hostility, and whatnot. So anger, many people feel that anger as an emotion should not be existing, because it gives rise to lots of problems, which is true. At the root cause of many problems we can trace to anger and hostility of people, but it also ensures that life is equal and fair in social situations. See, normally people prefer if there is a balance, there is an equilibrium. But then there are some people who find something wrong which is going in the system, and they try to fight it out. Or even some certain basic things, like even kids in school, when their friends gets a star and they don't, they feel angry, they feel betrayed, that why. So even they are aware about this concept of whether the teacher is being fair or not, and if according to them she's not being fair, they feel angry. And anger and aggression is one emotion that all of us are born with. Okay, so and all the species, which is again essential for our survival. Then the next emotion is of disgust. So it's the feelings of revulsion, or when you feel disgusted at something, you don't feel like looking at that thing, or you don't feel like being around that thing. So even disgust is an important emotion. It helps in protecting against all the toxic pathogens in and around the body. So let's say, for example, if you're consuming some food which is not smelling good, so why that feeling of disgust is accompanied by that, so that you can avoid eating that. So even disgust as an emotion has helped our ancestors in surviving. So even that is important. And sadness, so it's related to feelings of loss. Now, feeling of sadness, why is it necessary? It ensures that other emotions can be felt, and the instances which make you feel sad are imprinted on your memory. Usually, if I tell you tell me if anyone disagrees with me. If I ask you to recollect some of your happy memories and some of your sad memories, many of us end up recollecting sad memories more quickly, and we remember more of them, because that's the emotional experience that is attached with that is much more intense. So in future, you will make sure that you will not indulge in that kind of a behavior, maybe to avoid getting into that kind of situation again. So even sadness as an emotion, it has helped us in growing and flourishing. So if we can just make a little bit of categories, like I said, positive and negative, there can be love, joy, then there can be more categories. And in negative emotions, there can be anger, sadness, and fear, and then there can be some subcategories as well. I'm not getting into much details of the subcategories because I think we might run out of time. So we have said that all emotions exist. All of us are, none of us is blessed with this thing that you are indifferent or you can't experience emotions. It's not. It doesn't work that way. But then why do we consider them as important? So we have seen individually that why every emotion, what purpose it serves, but what makes them so important or so essential. So I mean, the first very logical thing that you can think of is they make life interesting. So, without emotions, you can imagine your life. There will be no anger, no sadness, no disgust, but then there will be no joy and no happiness at all. So you are not excited about anything. And that's something that many, in fact, अगर आपको पता होगा, चौबे सर, सोनार सर, you can correct me if I'm wrong. एक संस्कृत में एक वर्ड है जिसे कहते हैं स्थितप्रज्ञ. स्थितप्रज्ञ का मतलब है somebody who doesn't experience any emotions, or somebody who is maybe I'm wrong in that explanation, but somebody who is not affected by anything, whether a happy event or a sad event. So हमारे जो मतलब एंसेस्टर्स में, हमारे पुराणों में ऐसे ऋषि मुनियों के वर्णन है कि जो they were trying to get that state, which is extremely difficult, because that is what I said, that's what makes us human. But going ahead, I think of if you think of becoming or achieving that state, it's like, you can exist just like another machine or another stone, so without any feelings. So there is no excitement remaining in your life. So emotions they serve as link between your surroundings and your response. So, when you're, some of you who have gone trekking, you are walking on a cliff, you can imagine how carefully you are walking. You are looking at the height, you are looking at, where you are keeping your foot and trying to balance out things. Now, why do you do that? You don't walk like that on a road, but why do you do that on a cliff? It's because you're scared that, if you fall down, that's it. So you're very scared of falling down and getting hurt, and maybe it can be fatal. You are aware about that. And that is the reason, like I said, fear and even all other emotions, they help us in protecting ourselves. Emotions also help us in shaping our future behavior. So let's say, for example, the unpleasant experience that we discussed before, when we were talking about components of emotions. An employee is insulted by his or her boss. That's there is a learning, the emotional experience that the employee went through, the kind of sadness and anger and guilt that he felt. Somewhere, if he realizes that it was maybe because of some mistake that he made, and he will make sure that he will not make that mistake again, because he doesn't want to go through that emotional experience again. So it will help in shaping his future behavior, where he will be extra careful next time to make sure that he doesn't get that kind of an unpleasant emotional experience again. And they help us in interacting with others more effectively. So we had discussed about this emotional intelligence last year. So when you are able to identify, understand your own emotions and emotions of others, automatically your relationship dynamics also improves to a great extent. So it makes emotions make your interactions with others much more meaningful and much more effective. Now, as you already know, we discussed about this in the fourth question, which we said. So, what about, if we, now there are some people who, they feel, they have a very strong feeling about something, but they decide not to express it. They decide to, or as the language that is used normally, they try to suppress it. So suppress it matlab wo छुपा के रखने की कोशिश करते हैं. Now, is that a solution? So like the question which I posed, so if you are suppressing an emotion, will it go away, or what will happen? First of all, before I move on with the slide, let me tell you, anything that you try to bottle up, it will not go away. Anything that you try to suppress, it will not go away. It will be like a pressure cooker kind of a situation where you are suppressing your emotions every now and then. One fine day, that pressure cooker is going to explode in a way which even you will not understand. So there is going to be an explosion. There is going to be a catharsis, which may not be, which is likely to give a very bad experience. So avoiding emotions is certainly not a solution. Another thing that we need to remember over here is all of us, that is why I have highlighted these words, all of us are vulnerable to all sorts of feelings. So, when we hear or when we listen to these stories of Deepika Padukone being diagnosed with depression, many of us think that, yaar, isko kya kami hai? She has been a very successful model, a very successful actress, and depression kahan se aata hai inko, So the point is, it's not like, emotional instability or anxiousness or depression will hit only certain lot of people. All of us, like I said, are vulnerable to all sorts of feelings, whether it is an extreme sadness, extreme anger, extreme guilt, extreme depression, whatever it is. So we are all vulnerable to all sorts of feelings. We occasionally take decisions under the influence of these emotions, which may not turn out to be very logical. So let's say, for example, when this employee is insulted by the boss, many a times in the heat of the moment, the employee may, while he's arguing back, he might just say that, I don't want your job, I don't want to work here anymore. And he might just want to resign. However, this is a decision which is taken under that influence of the emotion that he is getting carried away into. But however, the decision may not turn out to be very logical when he thinks about it later. Now, occasionally it might happen that, no matter how much we try to regulate our emotions, we are not able to. And the behavior is carried away by, whatever we are experiencing. So it's very likely. However, we need to remember that, just like we have got an emotional brain, like I said, limbic system and the parts which are surrounded by it, so they control emotions, but we have got a thinking brain as well. So that along with emotions, because we are humans, we also have an ability, we also have the capacity to control and regulate them, and that is something that we should never be forgetting. So if we keep logic aside every now and then, and if we let our emotions hijack our brain, that is where the problem arises. And in fact, playing with people emotions is something that that has been a technique in many things. For example, in many warfares as well. Here, I would just like to, just a second. Yeah. Even like I was saying, that even in different warfares, this has been a system to mislead your enemy by playing with his emotions. So I would just like to quote an example, and we will go ahead. This is an excellent example of what I'm talking next, which is about managing your emotions. Okay. Now, you all, I'm sure all of you who have joined, now all of you must have heard about Shivaji Maharaj being a management guru. So many people have talked about how he was as far as his managing his warfares and managing his systems and managing his men and everything was concerned, this guerrilla warfare and this and that. So all of you are already aware about it, but today I would like to talk a little bit about his emotional regulation angle when you're talking about emotional stability. Now I'm sure all of you are aware about the famous battle which was fought between Shivaji Maharaj and Afzal Khan. Now, वो तो आगे की story सबको पता है that they both met and Afzal Khan tried to kill or stab Shivaji Maharaj, and Shivaji Maharaj had this tiger, what do you call it, tiger nails on his hand, and he basically, तो वो पूरा हम लोगों को सबको पता है कि क्या हुआ था. But I would like to stress here on what happened before that. So Afzal Khan was not some maniac who had been sent just randomly. So he was a very renowned general of the Adil Shah dynasty. So when he was sent, he decided a strategy that usko pata tha ki Afzal Khan, he was having an army of around some 30,000 soldiers that he was having with him. On the contrary, if we talk about the Maratha Empire, Shivaji Maharaj, he was having barely, Chobe sir, correct me if I'm wrong, he was not, more than 3,000 to 3,500 men that he was having at that time. So Afzal Khan was very clear that somehow if you make him have a battle on the ground, ab khule मैदान में उनके सामने आ जाओगे, तो it's a matter of 2 hours, everything will be over. So he decided one thing, he decided to play with his emotions. What he did was, वो जब जा रहा था विजापुर से, Shivaji Maharaj was near Pune. So when he was approaching Pune, what he did was he decided that while going, he will destroy each and every temple that comes in the way. So of course, destroying a Hindu temple in order to enrage, in order to instill anger in a Hindu king. So he actually destroyed every temple that came in the way, including the temple of Shivaji Maharaj का जो जिसे हम लोग कुलदेवता कहते हैं. So उनका भी temple तुलजापुर में, he destroyed that temple as well, with the only that one thought in his head that this should enrage him and he should come on the खुले मैदान में वो आने चाहिए. But because of he was not so fortunate, Shivaji Maharaj had already mastered the skill of regulating his emotion. Of course, when he heard about that temple being destroyed, he was extremely angry, but he was knowing that why this game has been played. So he was very well aware that if I am enraged and if I attack Afzal Khan like this on on the ground, it's it will be over in just an hour or so. So तो मतलब temple तो फूट ही गया है अब, your fate will also be broken. So he was knowing it very well. So he played it very cool. He could regulate his emotions very well, and he made sure that he brought him to a place which was convenient for him. And in the end, we all know what happened. So it took a matter of it took good 6 months for this battle to end. But he knew how to regulate his emotions and to get the end result in the way in which he wanted. So the point is, as all of us have got this ability to experience emotions, we have got the ability to manage our emotions as well. And this is where we are talking about emotional stability. So what do you mean by emotional stability? So APA stands for American Psychological Association. So how they explain or how they try to decode what is emotional stability, it is predictability and consistency in emotional reaction, and with absence of rapid mood swings. So emotionally mature person or emotionally stable person will be the one who is able to give a consistent and predictable emotional response no matter whatever kind of situation he is into. So let's say, for example, in situations where others are likely to feel extremely angry, this person, he might be a little bit angry, but he is able to keep his emotions to himself till there is a good time to express them. Remember one thing, managing your emotions or stabilizing your emotion does not mean suppressing them. The person is very well aware that he's feeling it, but he knows that it is not the right time to express it. So understand this subtle difference. Emotional stability, in fact, has been so unique in the literature of psychology that it is actually, it is so distinguishable in people that it is defined as a personality trait. In psychology, we have a very popular theory called as the Big Five personality factors. So these are the 5 factors which differentiate between different people as far as their personality is concerned. So which all 5 factors are there? If you can see, there is openness to experience, there is conscientiousness, there is extraversion or introversion, there is agreeableness, and the last part, earlier it used to be called as neuroticism. Now I'll talk about neuroticism because that is what, when we are talking about emotional stability, that is what we are talking about. Now openness to experience is basically how the extent to which you are not inhibited, the extent to which you are open to take new experiences, the extent to which you are a risk taker. So maybe that's openness to experience. Conscientiousness, it talks a little bit about your moral sense, your ability to distinguish between right and wrong and behave accordingly. Extraversion is the extent to which you like to be friends with strangers and you're comfortable in the presence of strangers. Agreeableness is the extent to which you agree with others, you conform with others, and you try to avoid conflicts. Neuroticism, it was earlier called as neuroticism. It's about the extent to which you are likely to feel anxious in different situations. Later on, in the later research, the word neuroticism was replaced by the word emotional stability. Now, all of us have all these 5 factors. The only thing is we have these 5 factors in varying degrees. So there will be different, let's say, for example, for me, I'll be having all 5, but it will be at a different quantity. For some of you, some might be high on openness, some might be low on consciousness, high on agreeableness, etc., etc. So even emotional stability is one such trait which distinguishes among all of us. It's the extent to which you are able to regulate your emotions. Now, neuroticism, why the word was changed? Because neurotic ka matlab hai, the extent to which you are anxious. But when you're talking about that, it's not only related to anxiety. Anxiety or fear is only one feeling, but we should essentially be talking about all the other emotions, and hence it was replaced by the word emotional stability. Now, let's first look at a person who, according to research, can be called as emotionally unstable, or in other words, the person who is high on neuroticism. So when we are talking about emotional instability, what could be, or we can say a person who is high on neuroticism. So how the person is likely to be. So first of all, he will be very high on anxiety level. So let's say, for example, in situations where most people are likely to feel scared, for example, when you're about to enter an examination hall, many of you might feel scared, and for your generation, I think since for the past 2 years, since you're giving online examinations, I think for you it will be all the more scary compared to how we all used to feel, because we were used to that. But so normally all of us feel scared when you are entering any evaluation situation, whether it's an interview or an exam or whatever. But people who are high on neuroticism, their level of anxiety is much, much higher compared to others. So much so that some of them might get a panic attack. So उनका anxiety level बहुत ही ज़्यादा होता है compared to others. They are easily angered. So these are the people. Neurotics are also people, because we are not only talking about anxiety, like I said, we are talking about all other emotions. So because they are not able to regulate any emotion for that matter very well, so even anger is one of them. So when they are angry, even if they may not say anything, but it's very, very visible on their face that they are not liking it. And sometimes it is not wise to express all your emotions, in a given situation. So these people may not be able to control that feeling of anger that they are having. If not verbally, but non-verbally, it's very, very visible that they are not liking something. They are again quite vulnerable to depression as well. So even when they are feeling sad, they are likely to go to the extreme side of it, that they are likely to feel not only sad but hopeless. So going down that lane. They're very, very self-conscious in many situations. So whenever and even about certain things which others might not be even concerned about. So let's say, for example, when they're going for a party, of course all of us would like to dress well and everything, but they will constantly be unka ek kahin pe cheek pe pimple aaya hoga, and they will be constantly focusing on that, ki people will notice when people are not concerned. So these people are very, very self-conscious. So if there are like 99 things good about them, but if there is one thing which is not gone well, so they will keep focusing on that and they will keep becoming self-conscious. There is immoderation. So like I said, so the level at which they experience emotions, it's not moderate. So it can either be very high or it can be very low. All these things make them very, very vulnerable. What do you mean by vulnerable? They are more likely to break down in situations which are emotion provoking. So even in instances of happiness, they still might become much more vulnerable. So for example, before getting married, of course, everybody before getting married keeps on thinking about predicting ki aage kya hoga, what all things will happen, whether anything will go wrong and this and that. So all of us think about that, but these people are likely to focus on the negatives of a situation more than the positive part of it. So that makes them more vulnerable to emotional breakdowns. So when you're talking about emotional instability, we can make it very clear that all the opposite of it, of what we're talking about, can equate to emotional stability. So people who are able to manage these feelings very well. So let's go to the next slide and talk about the extremities of it. So it will become more clear. Now, when we are talking about emotions or emotional experience, to be specific, there can be two extremes that we are talking about. Now, even though I've used the word extremes, to the left, you will see emotions which can be experienced at the moderate or acceptable intensity. And at the right, you will see when they cross a boundary of acceptance, and that is the time when they become pathological, or that become impairing and not very good for the person. So when you are having an emotional experience, usually it can have two extremes. Like I said, even though I'm using the word extreme, at the left, we have to think about situations where something is expressed in moderation. For example, if you get to know that you are going to get promoted in the next 2 days, so when your boss announces it, absolutely, you feel happy, you smile, and you shake hands with your boss, and you thank him and everything. However, if it crosses a boundary, even if your boundary of happiness, if you're extremely elated, you start dancing in your boss's cabin, of course that is something that is not right. That is crossing a boundary. So even happiness can have a boundary which sometimes it's not necessary and appropriate to cross. Feeling of sadness and feeling depression. So again, these are, when we are talking about sadness, there are instances, like I said, in everyone's life, you have ups and downs. It's impossible, in fact, to find a person who has never been sad in his life ever. So that's something that is a part of everybody's life. However, when it crosses a boundary to an extent that the person starts becoming hopeless, and he gives up trying on things, he somewhere convinces himself that, whatever it is, I'm not worth it. So he is becoming vulnerable to a very dangerous pathological condition, which is depression. Anger. Of course, there are, again, just like any other emotion, nobody is vulnerable to the feeling of, everybody is vulnerable to feeling of anger. None of us has got this liberty to literally liberate ourselves from anger. So it's something that every one of us will feel. But when it crosses the boundary and it becomes rage, so you're feeling extremely hostile, so much so that you will actually engage in physical fight with somebody. So when that crosses a boundary, and of course in most of the situations it is not appropriate to do that. It can be, what can you say, it can be justified if only and only if it is meant for protection of yourself, but otherwise definitely not. And yes, it's one thing to feel fearful about something, but it's another thing to panic and completely lose control out of that situation. Like I said, when you're entering exam hall, it's all right to feel fearful, it's all right to feel anxious, but when it crosses the boundary and the person goes to such an extent that he might have a panic attack where he will actually faint, he will feel dizzy, and he will completely go blank in a situation, that is where we are talking about extreme of this particular emotion. So when you're talking about emotional stability, you are talking about the left hand side of it, all these emotions, expressing them in a moderate and appropriate degree. So if you remember the triangle of emotion that we talked about, three jo uske components the, see, conscious experience of all of us can be similar. So let's say, for example, when I said that suppose somebody faces rejection in a relationship, anybody who goes through it is likely to feel sad. So conscious experience of everyone is likely to be similar. But what matters is how do you choose to express it? How do you choose to the expressive behavior of the person is something that matters more. And that is where emotional stability comes into picture. Now, in psychology, we have like many therapies which try to help people out, and one of the most popular of such therapies replacing the maladaptive behavior with the adaptive one. It's a very popular therapy called as REBT. I'm not getting into details of it, but it's a very nice and very relatable model that they propose, which can be applicable to many situations in life, but especially for emotional regulation, it can be applied very well. So REBT stands for Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy, and let us just see what this ABCDE have to stand for, and I'll just quickly take you through an example of how to regulate emotions using this ABCDE model. So in this particular therapy, A, it stands for activating event or adversity or something, a situation that you find yourself into. Now usually we tend to miss out on this part. Usually हम लोग सिर्फ ये लिंक देखते हैं कि situation क्या है और हम लोग react क्या कर रहे हैं. Usually we only think about these two things, but reaction is determined not much by the activating event, but more by your belief. So B stands for beliefs about the event or the adversity. So according to you, what has caused this particular situation, or can you do something to correct this situation? That is what we are talking about when we talk about beliefs. Many a times people miss this connection and they directly try to connect the dots from A to C. Now, once you realize that once you realize the underlying beliefs behind your reaction, you can challenge these irrational beliefs. You can replace them with the rational ones. And once you have the rational belief, maybe you can replace that with effective new beliefs, which will replace the irrational ones. And that will help you in regulating your emotions well. Let me put it in the form of an example, so it will be more clear. Let us say, for example, now with many of you, you might be going through this situation. Suppose you want to go for a late night party and your parents deny you permission. They tell you that you cannot go. Okay, so you're not allowed to go to a late night party. Now this is a situation. So I have explained A is activating event or the adversity which is there, that you are rejected by your parents to attend a late night party. Now, usually people will feel angry, adolescents, or young adults like you will feel, ye kya hai, all my friends are going, what is this? There will be hatred, there will be aggression, there will be anger. Usually all this is because of how you interpret that particular situation or the belief that you have. For example, when explaining the situation, suppose the adolescent says that my parents just can't see me happy. I don't know उनको क्या मुझसे problem है, but मैं खुश हूं ना वो देख नहीं सकते. This is the irrational belief. Now, I'm using the word irrational. We will try to dispute it in the next slide. Okay. So because the adolescent has got this belief that every time, I try to do something new or I try to hang out with my friends, कुछ ना कुछ ये लोग, they will deny permission, कुछ ना कुछ कर ही देते हैं. They can't see me happy. This is his interpretation of the situation. Definitely, he is likely to feel angry and he is likely to, feel or act aggressively towards it. Now let's see if we can change this B, dispute with this B somehow so that the emotional reaction can be changed a bit. I hope this is visible to everybody. So A, B and C over here will remain the same. That there is a denial of permission by parents that you can't attend a late night party. Still the underlying belief of the person is my parents just can't see me happy. So as a result, the person is likely to feel angry, likely to feel hatred towards one's parents. Now, if we try to dispute this irrational belief that, if the counselor or whoever the person is seeking help, suppose he asks that, so you say that your parents just can't see you happy. So are there any instances where they have made you happy, or it's like every time all that you have got from your parents is all the bad experiences? So this is where the thought process starts, where the person will start reflecting. There have been so many instances where I was so happy because of my parents' behavior or my parents' gestures. So is my irrational belief true that my parents can't see me happy? So do my parents hate me so much? So probably not. So why are they doing it? Is there any alternative interpretation or alternative explanation? Maybe the person, the young adult might be able to see an explanation that it's not that they don't want to see me happy, but they are concerned about my safety. They are not very sure whether I will return safely, or not. And that is the reason that they are denying me the permission. Now, once this irrational belief is replaced by a rational one, maybe there can be more practical and more productive ways of coming out of the situation. For example, so you might ask me, to kya? To matlab, every time you listen to your parents and you stay home. It's not like that. So when you know that it's not about your happiness, it's not that, parents tumhare dushman nahi hai, it's about they're concerned about your safety. So when you know that, maybe you can talk to your parents, you can just tell them with whom you are going to go out, you can share numbers of your friends, and maybe there will be some outlet or there will be some solution to this situation. But if you keep on fixating on this thought that my parents just can't see me happy, you will keep on, instability of emotion that we are talking about, you will be stuck here. So if you want to regulate your emotions better, the path goes through regulating your thoughts. So if you are able to regulate your thoughts, you will be able to regulate your emotions. And as a result, you will be able to regulate your behavior as well. So these three things are very much interlinked. But if we have to thoda sa hum log agar usko decode karne ki koshish kar de, this is how normally the flow will go. That you try to regulate your thoughts about an event, your emotional reaction will coincide with that, and your behavior will again coincide with the emotional reaction. Now, having talked about emotional stability, when I started, I told you in the beginning that it's very important to talk about emotional stability during these times because of the very reason that we have been fighting this pandemic since a long time. It's been 2 years and there is no end is visible, at least now. In fact, just the other day I heard about this another killer variant of this COVID, and it just keeps happening. So it's not going anywhere. That's the impression. So there are many factors which played with our emotional well-being, our mental well-being during the pandemic. And no matter आपका age group क्या है, आप कौन से country में है, आपका cultural background क्या है, आप कौन से religion के हो, no matter what, it practically affected everybody. So I'm not even talking about the physical effects of it, but because of certain things which were the reality of pandemic. So what all things happened? This is the chart that I am quoting. So this is basically a mental well-being scale, and these were the scores which were compared. So this is the sample that was taken in 2019. So if you can see, it's on the much higher side. So the blue is for men and the red is for women. Here now, if you see in 2020, how drastically the well-being has come down. So it's consistently lower than how it was. So if you see, thoda sa age group wise isme difference hai, but still, you know, you can see how drastically mental well-being of people has come down. So certain factors which I told you, which were responsible for that. Just excuse me for 1 second. I'll just switch on the light. I think I'm not properly visible. Yes. So of course, the first thing that people don't like is curbing on their freedom. So when they were not allowed to get out, they were not allowed to meet their friends. There was an imposed lockdown, especially during the first wave, where it just came out of nowhere. People were not prepared for it, and then there was a havoc. So that was something that added to, or that was like a precipitator to everything else that happened following that. There was a lot of fear of losing jobs, and this fear was very, very real. There were many people who lost their jobs, especially people who were into unorganized sectors. So for them, it was hell of a time. So there were many who, so those who were witnessing it. So there was, apart from everything else, there was an increased stress that, you know, you never know when you will be fired, when your company can't afford you anymore. So you never know when can that happen. There is then increased uncertainty about future. So, and future in the sense, it can be literally anything. I mean, I remember there are people who used to have like very elaborate travel plans कि वो अगले 1 साल में कहाँ जाने वाले हैं. अभी if you see, all the plans have gone for a toss. Even if you book a ticket like 1 month before, you don't know what is going to happen. So it's about any silly thing, but still there is very uncertainty. You don't know what is going to happen the next day. So you don't know when there will be again there will be a lockdown, there will be some restrictions. You can travel here, you can't travel there, you will have to get an e-pass. You know, it's very, very, the future has become very, very unpredictable. Even for students, for example. So with you all, like I remember there was a advertisement which had come of HDFC Bank, which according to me, later on it was probed and it was found out that it was fake. But उस advertisement में clearly लिखा था graduates of the 2020-21 batch should not apply. So basically the batch of graduates who passed through online exams, so they did not want. So that was an impression that you know, आप तो copy paste करके pass हुए हो, तो you know, we don't require you for the job. So students don't know their future. आपको पता होगा कि in Maharashtra and even otherwise, you know, people who prepare for competitive exams, unka to, you know, the future is literally hanging. They don't know when the exam will take place, whether it is going to take place, kya hoga, kuch, you know, people are really not aware about anything. There's a lot of unpredictability that is that has become a norm of COVID. So you know, people are trying to live with it, but then again, I mean, you don't know what will happen the next day. So with this unpredictability, there is an added stress and added anxiety with every coming day. And another important part is because people are grounded, people have to be, you know, in their rooms, people have to be at their homes, especially for children and especially for people of your age. There used to be lack of recreational activities. You can't go out, you can't you know, walk in a park, you can't go out and watch a movie or a play. You can't hang out with your friends, you can't go out and eat. So lots of restrictions, because of which you are confined to whatever you can do from your home. So, and working from home also was an additional pressure on some people, with some people who were not used to that culture. So even that job stress, it actually became an additional stressor. So all these things, when they, you know, came together, like I said, that they took a heavy toll on mental well-being of all of us. So this is where, you know, when we are discussing the importance of emotional stability, these are the testing times when, you know, we really require these skills. So how to go ahead, or, you know, what to do if we have to harness the skill. So there are certain simple things that, you know, we all can practice. This is the one thing which is very important to remember. Don't react very instantaneously to a situation. Take a little bit of time to think before you do something. You respond to it. You take cognizance of the situation and then choose your response. Remember, we have got these higher order cognitive skills of choosing our response as well. So like I said, when your boss insults you, one of the responses can be, throwing your resignation at his face. But another kind of response can be just to wait and reflect if it will be a right thing to do or not. So don't react immediately. Take a little bit of time to be aware of the situation and then respond. Pay attention to what you say and how you behave. So, when you are reflecting on the kind of response to choose, this is what you're doing. That you are trying to predict if you say certain things or if you do certain things, what are going to be the consequences. So pay careful attention before you do anything. Take responsibility for your feelings and your behavior. When you're talking about emotional stability, I keep on stressing this point that we are not talking about hiding or running away from your emotions. First of all, it's not possible. Like I told you, when they are piled up, there will be one fine day where they will explode. So it's not possible for many of us to hide from our emotions for a very long time. Instead of that, it is better to take responsibility for your feelings and your behavior. For example, हमारे culture में या anywhere in the world, if you see, usually एक tendency होती है लोगों की that men और boys are not supposed to cry. हम लोग जो एक उनको बचपन से पढ़ाते हैं क्या लड़कियों जैसे रो रहा है. So it is something, it's considered as a sign of weakness. So they are not allowed to do that. Socially, it's very stigmatizing if you see a man crying. Instead of that, and it's not a very healthy expression, to hide your feelings every now and then. In fact, you might be knowing that one of the reasons why men are more or twice more vulnerable to heart attacks compared to women, one of the reasons is running away or hiding from these unpleasant emotions. Because नॉर्मली हमारे यहाँ पे वही जैसे कि बॉलीवुड मूवीज में डायलॉग्स होते हैं कि मर्द को कभी दर्द नहीं होता. बट I mean, we have to excuse ourselves from such kind of idiotic things because all of us are vulnerable to all sorts of things. Gender doesn't matter. So instead of running away from your emotions, take responsibility for that. You felt bad in a situation, you have to be open about it, at least to yourself, that I do feel bad about it. Just be open at least to yourself. If you can find somebody to talk about it, really good. So, you should go ahead and do that. If there is a need, if you reflect back and if you feel that you have gone wrong somewhere, rather than feeling guilty about it, it's better to give it an outlet, go to that person and apologize. So, it will sort out a lot of things and it will take off the burden in the later situations. Practice empathizing with yourself and others. Now, empathy is a very essential skill that many of us, we do possess, but we don't practice it very much. So it's about trying to understand how the other person is feeling right now. So empathizing with yourself means that being true to what you're feeling right now. See, there will be instances where you will not be allowed to express your emotions just the way they come or just the way you are experiencing them right now. However, at least you should be honest in acknowledging what you're feeling. So let's say if you're feeling angry at somebody, if you're feeling angry at your parents, acknowledge that I'm feeling angry and then you can do something about it. But then if you keep on denying or distorting yourself, that's not going to work. So practice empathizing with yourself and practice empathizing with others as well. Try to understand how others might also be feeling in a given situation. Another thing is, it's not a crash course that you आपने आज का lecture attend किया and you become emotionally stable. So it's a lifetime process. Always remember, it brings me back to emotions are triggered by some specific events, and specific events that you have seen so far in your life, they may not remain same. So every day it will be a new experience for you. It will be a new event, whether happy or sad. So emotional regulation is an ability, or emotional stability. It's an ability which will help you in regulating and making your responses more predictable and more stable. That does not mean you become invulnerable to all the feelings. So like I said, it's not that you are attending a session today and you become emotionally stable for your lifetime. There might be instances where you might feel you're broken, you're feeling hopeless, you are not, or you're feeling extremely angry, you are feeling betrayed, you're feeling cheated, whatnot. So all sorts of emotions you're vulnerable to. But the thing is, in no matter what, you still can choose your response. So always remember, we always have, no matter what, we have a choice. So when it comes to reaction, you always possess a choice. Before going ahead to question and answer session, I would just like to show you a video regarding people who are emotionally stable. What are the characteristics of them? And we will go to the question and answer session.
Try Les Mills Plus free for 30 days.
One of the more puzzling aspects of the way we're built is that our emotional development does not necessarily
or automatically keep pace with our physical growth. We can be 55 on the outside and 4.5 in terms of our impulses and manner of communicating, just as we can be on the threshold of adulthood physically, while an emotional sage within. In order to assess our own and others' emotional development, we can make use of a single, deceptively simple question that quickly gets to the core of our underlying emotional age. When someone on whom we depend emotionally lets us down, disappoints us, or leaves us hanging and uncertain, what is our characteristic way of responding? There are 3 methods which indicate emotionally immature behavior. We might grade ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 according to our propensities. Firstly, we might sulk. That is, we simultaneously get very upset while refusing to explain to the person who has upset us what the problem might actually be. The insult to our pride and dignity feels too great. We are too internally fragile to reveal that we've been knocked. We hope against hope that another person might simply magically understand what they've done and fix it without us needing to speak. Rather, as an infant who hasn't yet mastered language might have a hope that a parent would spontaneously enter their minds and just guess what was ailing them. Secondly, we might get furious. Another response is to get extremely and disproportionately angry with the disappointing person. Our fury may look powerful, but no one who felt powerful would have any need for such titanic rage. Inside, we feel broken, at sea, and bereft. But our only way of reasserting control is to mimic an aggrieved emperor or taunted tiger. Our insults and viciousness are, in their coded ways, admissions of terror and defenselessness. Our pain is profoundly poignant, our manner of dealing with it a good deal sadder. Thirdly, we might go cold. It takes a lot of courage to admit to someone who's hurt us that we care, that they have a power over us, that a key bit of our life is in their hands. It may be a lot easier to put up a strenuous wall of indifference. At precisely the moment when we are most emotionally vulnerable to a loved one's behavior, we insist that we haven't noticed the slight and wouldn't give a damn anyway. We may not simply be pretending. Remaining in touch with our wounds may have become conclusively intolerable. Not feeling anything may have replaced the enormous threat of being fully alive. These 3 responses point us in turn to the 3 markers of emotional maturity. Firstly, the capacity to explain. That is, the power, simple to describe but a proper accomplishment in practice, to explain why we are upset to the person who's upset us, to have faith that we can find the words, that we are not pathetic or wretched for suffering in a given way, and that, with a bit of luck, we will find the words to make ourselves understood by someone whom we can remember deep down, even at this moment of stress, is not our enemy. Secondly, the capacity to stay calm. The mature person knows that robust self-assertion is always an option down the line. This gives them the confidence not to need to shout immediately, to give others the benefit of every doubt, and not to assume the worst and then hit back with undue force. The mature like themselves enough not to suspect that everyone would have a good reason to mock and slander them. Thirdly, the capacity to be vulnerable. The mature know and have made their peace with the idea that being close to anyone will open them up to being hurt. They feel enough inward strength to possess a tolerable relationship with their own weakness. They are unembarrassed enough by their emotional nakedness to tell even the person who has apparently humiliated them that they are in need of help. They trust, ultimately, that there is nothing wrong with their tears and that they have the right to find someone who will know how to bear them. In turn, these three traits belong to what we can call the three cardinal virtues of emotional maturity: communication, trust, and vulnerability. These three virtues were either gifted to us during a warm and nourishing childhood, or else we will need to learn them arduously as adults. This is akin to the difference between growing up speaking a foreign language and having to learn it over many months as an adult. However, the comparison at least gives us an impression of the scale of the challenge ahead of us. There is nothing to be ashamed of about our possible present ignorance. At least half of us weren't brought up in the land of emotional literacy. We may just never have heard adults around us speaking an emotionally mature dialect. So we may, despite our age, need to go right back to school and spend 5,000 to 10,000 hours learning, with great patience and faith, the beautiful and complex grammar of the language of emotional adulthood.
Our emotion.
I hope you enjoyed the video. So basically you can, on all the three constructs that he was talking about, you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can see where you are as far as emotional stability and maturity is concerned. And like the person said in the video, that even if you feel you don't possess it right now, there is nothing to feel ashamed about it. It's like learning a foreign language. All of us may not be knowing it right since childhood, but important part to remember about that is it's a skill that we all can harness. It's a skill that we all can learn, and it's an ongoing process. So I think on that note, I will stop the session from my side, and let's be open for question and answers. If there are questions in the chat box, somebody from the volunteers can mediate and let me know what are the questions.
Ma'am, there are few questions.
Okay.
Question is from Snowson Joseph from Father Angel Vashi College. The question is how to maintain our emotions, especially during engineering, when we see many of our peers getting ahead with their studies and getting a better placement.
Okay, so I think the first thing that starts with is identifying your emotion. So what is it? So let's say, for example, if we try to decode it using our ABC model. So what is the activating event that you feel that others are going ahead, they are getting better placements, and you are not? So maybe that's the activating event that you have. And the emotional reaction because of that you're getting is maybe you're feeling angry, you're feeling disappointed, you're feeling let down by yourself, maybe some of the feelings that you might have. Now we need to get down to the belief part of it. I will just take you back to the slide so that it will be easier to understand. So now let's I have explained A and I have explained C. Now let's get to the belief part of it. So maybe the underlying feeling behind or underlying belief behind feeling angry and betrayed and let down is maybe somewhere there is a lack of confidence in the self, in your own capacity. Maybe the irrational belief is, if I don't get placed along with my friends, I can't achieve anything in my life. So this is the irrational belief. There might be other irrational beliefs behind that as well, but let's just try to deal with this one thing, that if I don't get placed along with my friends, then my life is not worth it. I haven't achieved anything. So maybe engineering, maybe we are talking about somebody who is aged like 21, 22. So let's see if we can dispute this belief in any way. So just try and think about, if at all you don't get placed till you are, let's say, for example, whatever, 22, 23, does it end? Does everything end? So, is it like only if you are getting a placement through your college, only then your life is worth it? will there be not a single opportunity later in your life, where you will get a decent job? You might do something of your own interest, and so basically what is happening is you are comparing your life right now with your friends in this point in time. Maybe 5 years down the line, when you look back, maybe the situation might be different. I know that all I'm talking about is hope, but however, try to dispute this belief that if I'm not getting a placement right now, I am not worth it. So, do you feel it's a rational belief? Do you think it's a logical thing to think about? So maybe you can replace it by saying that yes, first thing is to acknowledge you do feel sad, you do feel bad that right now it's not happening with you. You feel disappointed. However, you know that you have got some qualification, you have got some ability with you, which will make sure that you will have something worthwhile sooner or later. So can we are you getting the point how to use the ABCD model to regulate this feeling of anger and disappointment? Have I answered your question?
Ma'am, these questions are from the students who are watching through YouTube live.
Okay. So I hope that was just an example which I gave. There can be many other irrational beliefs behind that as well, which could be disputed later on. But just a model which can be used in order to help oneself. So can we move on to the next question?
Yes, ma'am. Second question is by Tanish from Patkar Varde College. His question is ghosting someone a solution if you can do no good when they are under trauma?
I'm sorry, is ghosting someone a solution? Can you repeat the question, please?
Is ghosting someone a solution if you can do no good when they are under trauma?
I think, when you witness somebody who is going under trauma, the most important, important skill that will work is empathizing. See, you can't, and of course, when you're empathizing, not forgetting that, you can understand what the other person is going through. You can put yourself in that person's shoes, but you should be able to remove the shoes as well. So not getting entangled in his emotions, but at the same time, being with the person and helping him go through that whole experience. I think that is more of an important skill.
Ma'am, the next question is from Claritis. The question is like, emotions, can we manage our moods too?
Emotions and moods are very closely connected in the sense that it has been found out that people who are, let us say for example, people who get up in a bad mood, they are more likely to experience negative emotions in the whole day. So let's say for example, when they are already in a bad mood, they go to office and they have an argument with a co-worker, they are likely to feel much worse compared to if they were in a better mood, they go to their office. Suppose even if they have an argument, they will still be able to control their anger. But if they're already in a bad mood, then that will affect that intensity of the emotion, which will be much stronger. It works conversely as well. So when you are likely to engage into more negative emotions, your mood also keeps worsening. Your mood also keeps getting worse with every negative instance. So they are very closely interconnected and they do affect each other.
Ma'am, the next question is from Shreya from Pansaheb Nene College. Her question is, I am mostly uncomfortable with lots of people, like I don't talk so much, don't ask for help, but when I am surrounded with people I know very well or my friends, I'm very comfortable. Is it okay? And if not, how can I do this?
It's absolutely okay. You can just describe yourself as an introvert, and that's absolutely okay to be one. I mean, there is nothing wrong with you. Don't worry.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is from Bhumika. Ma'am, she's asking if you can give a brief on emotion regulation.
Emotion regulation. Okay. I think pretty much what I have talked about. So when we are talking about emotional regulation, so all the tips that I just said. So we need to remember one thing, that first of all, denial or distorting your emotions is not a solution. Emotional regulation में सबसे पहली चीज जो आती है, we have also a concept called as emotional intelligence. So first thing that requires is identifying and acknowledging the right emotion. So let's say, for example, when I gave you this example, that let's say you have a fight with your coworker. So first, acknowledging what you're feeling about it. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling cheated that your friend is doing to you? Are you feeling betrayed? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling disappointed? So trying to underline, define what exactly you're feeling about it. And emotional regulation mein another important part is, again, when I discussed about the belief part. Try to understand your interpretation of the situation. Is that, let's say, for example, if you are having a fight with your coworker, and you're feeling angry because the underlying belief is, if I consider this person as my friend, he should never speak against me. If he is speaking against me, then it means he is cheating with me, he is betraying my friendship. So I mean, you can imagine why I'm calling this an irrational belief. There will be instances where you will fight with your friends, and a fight with your coworker does not mean or does not necessarily equate with the hatred that the person has for you. So maybe this irrational interpretation of the situation can be replaced by a rational one. That let's say so and so is my colleague, and I don't like when we fight. However, despite of the fight, I know that this person cares for me and we can resolve and move on. So interpretation part of the situation is very, very essential in regulating your emotions. Once you are able to interpret it in a rational way, automatically your emotional response and behavior will fall in line. So like I said, the path goes through regulating your thoughts.
Hello, audience. Amongst us, we have the Registrar and Director of N.S.S, University of Mumbai. So, sir, question and answer session is going on. So, we will continue with this. And after that, we will have blessings from sir.
Good evening,
sir. Sure. Please continue.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Ma'am, another question is, can be the toughest of emotional mind can break apart because of some emotional sensitive issues. Even if we continue to control, does it affect our health?
See, like again, I'm quoting this thing that all of us are vulnerable to all of these things. Let me give you an example. You must have heard about things. You must have heard about concept like trauma. So now, what is it? What is trauma? So it's a crisis which comes many a times. It comes suddenly, on which you have no control. Let us say, for example, people who unfortunately become victims of natural calamities like earthquakes or flooding or things like that. So it is something that is not expected. It comes, out of nowhere, and it just takes away everything that you have. So definitely, no matter how emotionally stable a person is, he is still likely to break down. He's still likely to be broken. It's not wrong to be, feeling broken, or it's not wrong to feel vulnerable. If you have seen the video, carefully, he talks about that it's okay to be vulnerable. The point is, we have the capacity to get back as well. So it's always important to remember this thing. In fact, just a little bit I will talk about it. Psychology में एक therapy है. It is called as existential therapy, and it is founded by one of the founders of that was a survivor of the concentration camp during Second World War. So if you are aware about the story of Second World War, what people had gone through in the concentration camps. Now this researcher was very amazed that अभी concentration camp का atmosphere आप लोग imagine कर सकते हो. So many people were in the same situation, same kind of a hell, but still some of them decided to survive. Some of them decided that I will survive and I will get out of it. Some of them decided to escape, whereas some of them simply decided to give up and die and commit suicide. So he was really amazed by these different responses of people to same situation. Now being in a concentration camp can easily break down a person. However, the point is, many of them still, after they were out of that situation, they were able to get along with their own life. So this is something that we need to remember. We are very much vulnerable to breaking down, but we are as much capacitated to get up as well.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, next question is from the Dhaval Prajapati from Nagindas Khandwala College. When we had done some bigger mistakes and its adverse effects is that person forgives us very easily. So how to handle the feeling of regret and what is the solution for it?
First of all, it will be really helpful if, like I said, if there is a need, you need to apologize. So apologizing will go a long way in taking that burden off your shoulder to a very great extent, that the person knows that you are admitting and you are feeling regretful about the whole situation. Regret is one feeling which, according to my experience, it goes away a little slowly. So the key to come out of that situation is patience, and maybe it will remain with you for the lifetime, but the point is try and get less affected by it day by day. So I think that requires a little bit of patience, but eventually people get out of it. At least the extent to which it affects them, at least that goes down day by day.
Pooja, can we have a break for question and answer session and let Puranik sir address us?
Yes, sir, we can do that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
So
sir,
proceed
sorry,
ahead.
continue with the question and answer session.
Sir,
I am
I
also enjoying the session and is listening very, very carefully what ma'am is saying. So you just continue.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I am on way back my home. I have joined from my car, so I don't have any time constraint right now. So please
Okay,
continue, sir.
I was thinking of the same, sir, that you may be held up somewhere. So continue. Continue.
Ma'am, there is one more question from Trupti. She is from Lakshmichan Gola College. Her question is like she's not interested to interact with people. She likes to stay alone and it makes her happy. And she can't express her emotions with anyone as well. So what should she do with this? Like what all changes can she do to change her behavior?
Okay. First of all, I think again this can be this can be an instance where she is an introvert. First of all, she should find out if she is affected by this thing. There are people who like to be with themselves. They are very happy being alone, and they really enjoy recreational activities with themselves. So if she is happy with it, if there is nothing, she is not affected by it, I don't think there is anything needed to be done. But yes, if she feels that she needs to find someone to talk about her feelings or open up, maybe see, now she has used very strong words that she doesn't like to interact with anyone. Now anyone matlab kaun? Are there at least 2-3 people that she could interact with? So maybe trying and find out at least these 2-3 people on whom she can rely on. And if there's really, the intensity is that much that there is really nobody around her that she can rely on, there is no shame or problem in consulting a counselor as well. But it starts with the extent to which she's affected by the situation.
Ma'am, she is telling that her friends call her emotionless. So what she
emotionless?
Yeah, ma'am, emotionless.
Okay. See, I don't think so there is anybody who is emotionless. So if you remember the components that I talked about, maybe she is very choosy when it comes to expressing her emotions, but that does not mean that she doesn't feel any emotions. So maybe with these friends who call her emotionless, maybe if she starts expressing a little bit in front of themselves only, maybe, even she might find an outlet. And so see, this contrasts with the earlier statement that she says that she doesn't like to interact with anyone. But then there are people that she calls her friends. So if with them only she can start interacting a little bit more, she expresses her opinions, her feelings a little bit more, then that might go a long way. Again, it starts with if at all she feels that it's a issue that she needs to do something about.
Okay, ma'am. The last question we have is from Janvi. If people try intentionally to behave rude with us, even if we are behaving polite to them, we feel disappointed. How to manage our emotions?
See, it depends upon who is that person who is doing this to you. Now there might be some authority figures who, if they are doing that to you, no matter how much revengeful you feel, you really can't do anything about it. But if it's really going ahead of your tolerance level, maybe you can try and talk to these people about how you're feeling. Of course, it's very important to choose the right words that you're feeling. And then again, another thing is again getting back to our cycle of A, B, C, D, and E, where you are feeling disappointed because people behave rude towards you. Maybe we have an irrational belief that everybody every time should be sweet with us. So that is something that is irrational because that is not possible. So maybe it can be replaced by a belief saying that sometimes some people behave rudely towards me purposely, but I can manage with that. I'm okay with that. So of course it will take a little bit of time to replace that, but I think that can be done. And I'm sure this is an experience which many might be getting.
I now request Sir to address the gathering, and please, I now request Sir to address the gathering.
We welcome our Registrar and Director of N.S.S Cell, University of Mumbai. Sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vivekji. I could not keep my promise that I will join you during the inaugural session. But instead of joining the inaugural session, I really enjoyed the question answer session. And that is most wonderful thing to hear from the students. They are talking to the resource person, which nowadays has become very less in the online mode. Normally what happens, everybody keeps his or her camera switched off and teacher goes on speaking, and there are some responses, but it was really very nice experience that students were asking their questions, and I really enjoyed the answers given by the resource person also. Madam, it was really very nice to listen. I had two dreams in my life when I was a student. The first one was to be a physics teacher, or the second one was to be a psychiatrist. So I could not complete my second dream, but somehow I completed my first dream, and now sometimes whenever I get leisure hours, I try to go through different books of psychology. But that's fantastic thing. And Vivekji, I congratulate you and your principal and management for conducting such a wonderful session today. And I am sure that the forthcoming 10 sessions will also be of the same type, and students will enjoy them. So thank you very much. And once again, I express my apologies for not joining during the inaugural session. I was a bit busy with a meeting, so could not make it. Now, when it comes to our will or what I wish to do, I always believe, sometimes when I was in school, I heard one sentence: listen carefully, the opportunity knocks your doors very softly. And that is true till today also. Opportunity knocks your doors, and you just keep on thinking that should I go for it or should I not go for it? And somehow you miss that opportunity. So, dear students, don't do that. But whenever you get an opportunity, grab the opportunity. And that opportunity itself will give you, I will give you a very simple example. Normally it is said that one should not quote his own example when you are speaking. But this is the most wonderful example I have noticed during my period of service. I was having a aim to be N.S.S program officer. So from 2006, I started working as N.S.S program officer. And the way in which N.S.S students and teachers, they keep on working, I just thought of becoming a district coordinator. So in due course of time, I became district coordinator also. And I was, then that time I just thought that, can I go there as a N.S.S coordinator? That time it was a post for N.S.S coordinator. I was just thinking of doing that, and unfortunately, I could not get the opportunity twice. I was denied the opportunity. And all of a sudden, one fine morning, I just got a call that do you wish to be a coordinator for N.S.S unit of Mumbai University? And immediately, without thinking, look, I'm staying almost 110 kilometers away from Mumbai. That time I used to travel daily. I got the opportunity and I grabbed it. I never thought that I will have to travel 220 kilometers a day. And then the flood of situation was there. Then pandemic started. And even I'm proud of my volunteers also. They grabbed the opportunity to work for the society. You will not believe that during the first flood that took place in 2019, all the N.S.S units of Mumbai University, they provided around 1.53 crores help to the affected areas. And the work done by N.S.S units from our university during pandemic is really uncomparable. That students conducted blood donation camps on suburban railway stations and all that. Even Vivekji's college was also a part and parcel of that. So we could contribute around 26,000 blood units during the pandemic. This figure is a 3 months old figure. Now we might have reached 30,000 figures. So this is how, if you grab the opportunity, if you work for the society, you are going to get a good development, and developing society that also helps you to develop yourself also. So what I will suggest you is always try to develop your own skills, work for this betterment of society. That will help you to be a better citizen of India. I think I had exceeded my time limit. So Vivekji, once again, I thank you and your principal and management for inviting me.
Madam is here. Madam is here, sir.
Okay.
Principal madam is also there. Director madam.
Yes. And also the resource person for her wonderful speech. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
madam.
Thank you, sir.
Nancy madam will.
Director madam has joined, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam mute hai.
Yeah. Puranik sir, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
यूनिवर्सिटी में तो मिलने को मौका नहीं मिला, अभी तो स्क्रीन में तो मिलते हैं. We are all celebrities now. We all see in screen only, on screen.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to come after your appointment, but तब तक मैं retire हुई, तो आ नहीं पाया. Then I went on a long vacation, so I'm back now. I want to see you and congratulate you in person.
Definitely, madam.
How I'm doing it. आपका भाषण सुन के मुझे लगता है कि आप चौबे जी को पात दिखाया है, अभी आगे का पात क्या है. ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे.
That is the role of a true teacher, madam. Basically, I was teaching physics for almost 33 years.
Yeah, I know. So, but Chaube also is doing so well and so good. He is under his team, It's not only Chaube. तो मैं चौबे को जब भी N.S.S प्रोग्राम ऑफिसर बनाया, तभी मैं बोला देखो मैं रिटायरमेंट तक मैं जो चेंज नहीं करने वाले हैं, आपको रिटायरमेंट तक चलाना है. तो वो बोला ठीक है चला लेते हैं, और अभी वो एरिया कोऑर्डिनेटर बन गया. तो अभी प्रोग्राम ऑफिसर, तो मतलब he is moving the way the path which you have narrated just now. Chaube, even if you get it, we all will be more than happy. Don't worry, work for it. And work in such a way that we get for best N.S.S college award also, which is pending. Before my retirement, that was to come to the college, but that couldn't happen. But still, I'm associated with the college, so we can have it at least.
Yes, sure.
Because you are doing a lot of activities. Puranik sir, I'm very happy to say that my entire team, N.S.S team, they work very with a lot of commitment and devotion, and they are doing a lot of programs, and the students are also so motivated. It is good. We are all very happy. And I was, मेरा initial talk में भी मैं आपको बहुत congratulate भी किया था. Then now Chaube said you couldn't join at that time because I thought that you were there at that time.
So there was one important meeting going on with Honorable
University. I can understand, sir. छोटा कॉलेज में काफी टाइम ऐसा होता है, तो यूनिवर्सिटी का वी कैन जस्ट इमेजिन व्हाट इज द रियल प्रेशर व्हिच यू विल बी अंडरगोइंग. You will be taking the pressure, we can understand. Now you stay in the college campus, no sir? I mean university campus, or you make up and down. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Now you are staying in the university campus or?
No, normally I go back home every day.
My God, you said 110 kilometers.
Leave the office around 7:30 or 8, and it depends on the work on the next day.
Correct, sir. I know. I have seen it, not experienced it. I have seen it. Very closely associated with the university.
But sometimes I stay in Mumbai also.
Okay.
As and when required.
All right.
Today I am going back home. I am going to have one guest at my home. So I decided to go back.
All right. Yeah. You are traveling. We can understand that. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, once again, my compliments to you. Today's session is over. Now 10 days. No, it is for 10 days.
Yes, ma'am.
10 days.
Yes, madam. 10 days.
Okay. It's good.
Thank you, madam.
I'll come and see you, sir. Once I'll come and see you in the university.
Definitely, most welcome, madam. Most welcome.
Yeah.
सर चाळीसगावला जाणं होतं का?
नाही, हल्ली नाही, बंद झालं बाबा पूर्ण. आता 40गाव काय पालीला पण जाणं होतं ना, पंचायत होते.
हो सर. थँक्यू सर. थँक्यू फॉर कमिंग.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
May I leave with your permission?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Wait for a minute. Hetvi?
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone. Before the program ends, I would request our volunteer Tisha Vora to propose the formal vote of thanks. Over to you, Tisha.
Good evening, everyone. I, Tisha Vora, on behalf of N.S.S. Cell of University of Mumbai and N.S.S. unit of B28 of Nagindas Khandwala College of Commerce, Arts and Management Studies, in collaboration with Department of English, which has organized this university-level webinar of 10 days soft skill development program, consider it my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this program. We are extremely grateful to Professor Amruta Sahasrabuddhe Joshi for addressing us on this very crucial issue. She took valuable time out from her busy schedule to do this for us. I'm sure all the participants must have benefited immensely from this talk. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Department of English for their cooperation in organizing this program. I extend a big thanks to all our N.S.S. faculty and student leaders for their cooperation. As no program can be a success with the efforts of only a single person, I would like to thank all our participants too. We hope you have learned a lot from today's session. Thank you all for making this event such a success with your patient presence. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Tisha.
Feedback. Thank you, madam, for rejoining.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Jai bhai. ठीक है.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So the feedback form has been posted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Chaube sir, may I leave now?
Yes. Thank you, madam. It was nice learning for us also, madam.
सर आपको सब पैसे पहले से पता है चौबे सर.
नहीं, बहुत कुछ नया सीखने को मिलता है, ऐसा नहीं है.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this
नया
opportunity.
लर्निंग होती रहती है.
Yes, ma'am. It was really nice.
Thank you, sir. Sonu sir, you are there. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, madam, you can.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you share the link once it is the YouTube link which is
Yes, it will be there.
Yes.
And it is there on our YouTube link, recorded version. It will be available.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sona sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hetvi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shetkar sir. Bye.
All the participants, please note the feedback link has been posted in the chat box for YouTube as well as Google Meet. Please fill the form. The form will be open for 10 minutes. After the form is filled, you can log off. Thank you.
So thank you all the volunteers, entire my team of teachers, Shetkar sir, Ashley sir, Sonu sir, Sonar sir, Nita madam, I am very much grateful to all my faculty members who have joined in the inauguration session, and many of them were present for the first session, even for the lecture also, and all the volunteers from different colleges. I am very much thankful for joining, and keep attending all the sessions. After you attend all the lectures, 10 days session, there will be a gap on 6th, so 11th will be the last day. So if you attend all the lectures, if you fill the forms of attendance, feedback forms, surely you are going to get the certificate, which will be university level activity certificate issued by the university, and the district coordinator will be signing, and then you will be getting that certificate. So all the best to entire team. Thank you, Sonar sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
May I leave now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, well done. All of you, well done. Keep it up.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you so much, sir.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Yes, Hetvi, shall we close now? Meet?
Yes, sir.
Hebo, Dishita, Dhanok, Meenakshi. Okay, all of them have filled the form, no?
Yes, sir. They are the leaders only, so we can leave the meeting.
Shall I close now? No,
Yes,
no
sir.
other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I think YouTube, that link is there now, right? Appeared. There won't be
Yes,
any.
sir. Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
well done, all of you. Did very good job. Okay, keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well done, Parek, Neha. Yes. Where are the other? Three behind the background. Back. Yes, we have to do that. No, somebody should be there. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Bhumika have to play a good Bhumika. Okay. Keep it up. Well done. Right?
Thank you so much, sir, for your support.
It will be always there. Yes. For good work. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Shall we end the meet?
Yes, sir, we can.
Chalo. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Good day, Dishita.